I'm Amy Cherry. This local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, here to wow ya.
We see cases of animal neglect and animal abuse almost daily.
And Amy Caratanudo with the Flagler Humane Society says dogs on chains are a big part of that neglect.
Dogs on chains are oftentimes neglected much more than just living on the chain. It's sporadic feedings. They're not a part of the family. They're part of the backyard.
And that's why she's upset that the county commission relaxed rules on chaining your dog instead of banning tethering, as the county had been poised to do last month. Now the updated ordinance allows a dog to be tethered for up to 10 hours in a 24-hour day if the dog has access to food and water and shelter during extreme weather. Caratanudo says the change has unintended consequences as well.
Our existing ordinance had a clause in there that animals had to be vaccinated, not just for rabies because that's state law, but animals had to have distemper 5-in-1 vaccine. That protects animals from parvovirus, which is deadly and pretty common, distemper, but that was in our existing ordinance. Now we've lost that.
The ordinance update comes after the American Kennel Club lobbied against a tethering ban.
This portion of Flagler's Morning News brought to you by the Daytona Beach International Airport, Delta Airlines nonstop to Atlanta, and now nonstop service to New York City via American Airlines.
A sex offender who was living within 250 feet of a park has been arrested, Tony Magoo reports.
On July 4th, the Flagler County Sheriff's Office went to the Thunder Gulch campground where sexual offender 32-year-old Trevor Brandon told authorities he'd been living. Deputies went there to verify his address and were unable to locate him. Sheriff's Office detectives with the Major Case Unit began to conduct surveillance on Brandon and found him staying at his mother's residence on Magnolia Terrace in Flagler Beach, approximately 250 feet from a Flagler Beach city park. Sex offenders living within 1,000 feet of a park are prohibited under state law. On September 17th, the Major Case Unit coordinated with the Flagler Beach Police Department to take Brandon into custody. Initially, a lie to investigators claimed that he was only visiting his mom's place to take a shower. When presented with evidence to the contrary, Brandon admitted that he had not been living at the Thunder Gulch campground. Brandon was taken into custody charged with failure to properly register as a sex offender. He was transported to the Sheriff Perry Hall Inmate Detention Facility, where he's being held on a $50,000 bond. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Tony Magoo.
I am very much pro-development, but I want smart development.
Commissioner Joe Mullins defends his decision to vote yes to allow a larger development to be constructed in the Hammock. The zoning change paves the way for a higher density subdivision that includes 50 units on a 14-acre property near State Road A1A and Jungle Hut Road. Mullins, who was initially against the development, changed his mind during the presentation. One big reason behind his decision, the homes would be connected to a central sewer system.
We need to make sure that we meet the infrastructure needs and we get rid of these septic tanks, because they're going to cause some problems for our kids and our youth many years down the road. And the third most important thing is we've got to get a conservation group together. We've got to turn around and identify land that we want and decide how we want to pay for it and secure it.
He also called for an update to the area's strategic plan.
Flagler County Sheriff Rick Staley said he was hoping for a few more deputies, but the city of Palm Coast did not come through for him.
Staley said he wanted those deputies to protect a new area in the city. Short of that, the sheriff said there's always the next fiscal year.
Hopefully in the next fiscal year, the 2021 fiscal year, I'll make a stronger case for them. We'll just hope that they make public safety a priority.
Staley said he respects Palm Coast City Council and its mayor and realizes the city has several needs in its budget. But he said he was disappointed that his department was not part of that budget. If you want to listen to the entire interview, check out the Free for All Friday pod. It's on the Flagler radio app, which you can download today. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
A turtle sculpture is unveiled at Palm Coast City Hall. John Arking has the story.
A vibrantly colored loggerhead turtle sculpture named Nadia was unveiled and dedicated in front of City Hall Tuesday, in front of a crowd of supporters and the local artist behind the sculpture, J.J. Graham. Sponsored by an anonymous donor, it was the second turtle sculpture to be dedicated to the city as part of the Palm Coast Arts Foundation's Turtle Trail. The first turtle to be dedicated to the city last October is named Tiff and is located at Long Creek Nature Preserve. The city will be gifted 2 more turtles in the future, one at the Palm Coast Historical Society at Holland Park and one at the Palm Coast Community Center. Nadia is located just steps from the doors to City Hall. There's a plaque in front of the fiberglass sculpture that outlines a few details for admirers to read. There's also an educational component to the art, since the loggerhead is a federally designated threatened species. Named for its massive block-like head, the loggerhead is Florida's most common sea turtle. Florida's sandy Atlantic and Gulf of Mexico beaches host one of the largest loggerhead nesting aggregations in the world. Females return to their nesting beach every 2 or more years to lay 4 to 7 nests, one about every 14 days. Each nest contains about 100 to 126 eggs that incubate after 60 days. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm John Arking.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Amy Cherry.